It's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria, Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show, podcast and live stream. How are you this morning? Just wrestling two screens there, two-screen technology. You want to move left to right, but I've got them above and below each other. I'm gradually reprogramming my mind to do that so that my brain-to-hand coordination does what I want it to do. And we're rewriting neural pathways. I suspect James, the banana slug, might have something to say about this when it comes to human happiness, about rewriting those neural pathways at 8:45 this morning. And at 9 o'clock, Gilda will be with us. And we thought last week, didn't we? We know that James has got his own theme tune. And I got the feeling as Gilda was watching James's theme tune, she was thinking to herself, I'd like a theme tune, but I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to cause a fuss. And I said, you should have a theme tune. No, I'm not too bothered about a theme tune. Then at the end, about 10 o'clock, we'll have a theme tune next week, won't I? And Warren, can you help us? Warren has helped us. I made one over the weekend in a rave style to suit the festa season of Portugal right now. And then this morning I woke up to a beautiful song from Warren. So stay tuned, 9 o'clock. If you don't need migration advice anymore because you're here in Portugal, the least you could do is join us and listen to my Gilda's new theme tune, which will be premiering at 9 o'clock this morning. Lucky Gilda. And she sent me some pictures as well. She has been, I think, well, let me play you the video that she sent me. She's been enjoying life somewhere else in Portugal, I think, not necessarily in Lisboa. Let's have a look at this. Oh my goodness, that's a rousing start, isn't it? Beating the skins there. Who doesn't like a rousing start and beating the skins first thing in the morning? That's quite incredible, Gilda. She'll explain when she joins me at 9 where that's from. And from the same place, I think. Prehistoric animals, possibly. Look, his cute little eyes and his long trunk. Isn't he beautiful? And we'll find out where this glazed creature is from Gilda a little bit later on as well, her travels over the weekend. How are you all doing? How was your weekend? Let me know. Thoughts from the Redwoods then at 2:45 and Gilda at 9 for Migration Monday. What have you all been up to? You know, I've had a further thought about these Darth Vader weighing scales. Okay, this is the thing. I need to make a meme. Probably the best comment was it Stephen last week. When you get on, you weigh yourself. The force is strong with this one. Best so far. But if those weighing scales could speak and deliver messages, we could, of course, let's do this. Let's put the no, not that one. Let's put the God Squad tip of the day up. Bon viveurs, enjoy a tipple or three. Bon viveurs, enjoy a tipple. I can't do the Darth Vader. I'm going to have to practice. Bon viveurs, enjoy a tipple or three. It's one of life's joys. I could do the heavy breathing, but I just can't do the voice. It's one of life's joys, just not good for you every day. You bon viveurs with your tipples. Try to restrain yourself 3 days a week. It's sounding like quite an effort, isn't it? Try and restrain yourself. The force is not strong in that one. I tried to restrain myself. There is no try. Try to restrain yourself 3 days a week and stay healthy. You'll live a fuller life. There you go. Thank you very much, Ian. And yes, I think I need a jingle. Well, you need a jingle, a God Squad tip of the day featuring the Darth Vader jingles. Keep those comments coming in of what your Darth Vader weighing scales might say to you. Superb. Thank you. Yeah, and I'll be talking of tippling. not long now, about a month for me after my year, apart from 3 glasses of fizz and a little sip of red wine, because it would have been rude not to. I've not drunk any beer for a year, apart from alcohol-free beer. It's sounding less and less magnificent every time I mention it, isn't it? But I'm looking forward to a cold beer, and I'll be ready for it by the 7th of July. Bon dia, Gumpers! Feliz segunda todos. Hold on, what's he saying? Banana Slug. This is his name. I'm just going to call him Banana Slug. But just for once, the first time I read it, I'll read the whole thing. But hereinafter, we'll refer to you as Banana Slug James. Not my smaller lettuce-eating cousin. And I think he issued an apology on behalf of all his lettuce-eating cousins last week. That is a real danger for the gardeners. We don't have a gardening Q&A tonight at 6:15, it being the first Monday of the month. We have a team meeting, but every other week, of the month, second, third, fourth, and if there's a fifth Monday, Lee McGrady is answering questions. He's here this morning. I saw him say, "Morning, everyone," and he'll be on the show tonight as well. The 10 p.m. more politically inclined podcast from 10 o'clock. So, bon dia, Gampos, feliz segunda todos from James. Como tem pasado? Very good. There are a lot of ways of saying goodbye in Portuguese. There are a number of ways of saying hello, how are you as well, as we're discovering from James each morning. And here's Will Rogers' quote of the day: live in such a way that you would not be ashamed to sell your parrot to the town gossip. Isn't that lovely? Parrots make stuff up, though, as well, don't they? Miguel is here. Miguel Luis Sousa Diaz. Bon dia to you, Miguel. Thank you so much for coming back after last week. Moaz is in as well. Bon dia, Carly. A todos. How you doing, Moaz? Tudo bem? Como estás? Como vai? And T-Duck in also. Bon dia, Alegria Gumpers. And some Portuguese sayings. Aqui se faz. Aqui se paga. Here it is done. Here it is paid. It sounds very Shakespearean, doesn't it? Or should I say? Pessoa, Fernando Pessoa. Bad actions lead to bad karma. Here it is done. Here it is paid. Very good. Quem ri por último ri melhor. He who laughs last laughs the best. Wow, there it is for you, right there in Portuguese. And acordar com os peixes da fora. Peixe da fora, I think you can say, just simply. Estar com os azeites. Azeites. Wake up with the feet outside, being with the olives. I would, if you'd have said to me, what does being with the olives mean? I'd have thought it was a bit like sleeping with the fishes. But no, it's when someone wakes up in a bad mood or is being snappy. And that was me over the weekend. Roller coaster ride. I know James says, notice, choose, and act. Well, that was good advice. Just about wrestled it back, me and Mrs. M. It was a bit of a roller coaster ride emotionally this weekend, but we worked on it. We worked on it so much that eventually we just started laughing about our beef and our complaints and resentments and that sort of thing. What a weekend. How was yours? And Ted K is here. Now, you see, the thing is, the reason why we have a 10 p.m. political podcast is to minimize the amount of political crosstalk and people falling out with each other. And it's true, isn't it? Look, you see, this is a political act in itself. Ted K, I see you, Prof. Ted K has done a name change as a political act here. He's making a point. And of course, politics can't be kept out for very long, can it? And I think in many ways, I made a mistake saying I didn't want politics on the show. You can't not have politics, but what I was hoping for really is the result that political discussion brings. That was really the point, is to stop people being beastly to each other and drifting into this tit for tat and nastiness that can ensue when people get activated and triggered by political conversation. And it's not the only subject, is it? We might put a few other things on the list of things that trigger and stimulate people to act in not their best way. But the point being, we're loving life in Portugal here. This is about moving to Portugal and helping people move to Portugal and enjoying life for those who are here, and by way of some sort of compensation, an outlet for these political ideas. 10 o'clock tonight. Are you prepping? Is my question tonight. Everyone's prepping, everyone's praying, I think. Everyone prays, don't they? And everyone preps, even if it's just a savings account that they've got, or they buy an extra tin of beans. Talking about that tonight at the suggestion of Lee McGrady. Join me. For my question to you is this, at 10 p.m. this evening, anonymous quotes. We'll come back to you, Ted K, Prof. Ted K. Success in marriage is not so much finding the right person, it is being the right person. Yes, that's what I discovered over the weekend. You could have told me that a long time ago, T-Duck. After a string of disastrous relationships, They were roller coaster rides. They had their ups as well as downs, of course. But the thing is, I suppose, by the way of things with relationships, unless you do a conscious uncoupling, I suppose your last taste is a sour taste. And that's how I suppose one tends to remember a relationship, that it has been a failure. Otherwise, you'd still be together, wouldn't you? But anyway, more relationship advice possibly from the T-Duck to follow. Include the success of others in your dreams for your own. Include the success of others in your dreams for your own success. Very nice. Very, very nice. And if I had $1 for every time I was distracted, are there any more donuts? That was written for me, wasn't it? Anyway, let's move on. Moaz from James, and I don't know what that is, and I'm afraid it might be of a somewhat negative and a bit of a downer, Ted K. But I think you've Portuguese history for us, which I'll hold until we go into the land of jingles, which it is this morning. I'm going to hold your today in Portuguese history because I think Gilda likes to hear those as well. Good morning, everyone, from Diogo Santos. Good morning to you. How are you, Diogo? And good morning from Miguel. Another one of those. Thank you. Let me star those wonderful todays in Portuguese history. Gary Orgles is here, of course, the man who sent us that beautiful photograph of Aveiro's shopping centre. Look at the colour in that. These are the lengths people go to. Didn't even have a jubilee here in Portugal, but still looking like we're celebrating life each and every day there. Thank you very much for that, Gary. How are you, my friend? A maniac Monday. This morning, upgraded a maniac Monday. My goodness, hope you're okay. Good morning, people. How you doing, Lee? And what is Miguel saying to us? Que a vosso dia seja produtivo. A nice productive day then to all you gumpers there. However you want to, it's a bit like success, isn't it? How would you translate productivity, or how would you interpret productivity? Some people sitting still all day, just emanating love and light, would be perhaps the most productive you could be, right? Rather than running around chasing your tail. Hola, Gumpers, from Tony as well. How you doing? And Owen as well. Owen, morning, everyone. How are we doing on numbers for the barbecue? It's amazing, Owen. And quite right, too, that so many people want to come. But how lovely that they want to get up early on a Sunday morning and join us for a bit of barbecue action. That'll be the 12th, a week yesterday. My goodness, doesn't time fly? 6 days into June already. Bon dia Alegria, another lovely week rolling up in sunny, recently cloudy and rainy Portugal. Yes, it is looking like a nice morning here on the Silver Coast, Paddy. Brian Taylor's in as well. And Anna, a picture from Anna this morning. Bon dia todos. What a great weekend with sun, sea, and concerts. Today is Swedish National Day. What should we say? Can you tell us what to say to you as a Swede and any other Swedes we might meet today on Swedish National Day? And here is your picture. Look at that. Oh, I didn't notice before that you captured the gold in the picture as well. Sunrise in VRSA down in the Algarve this morning. How beautiful is that? Couple from me discovered this lovely bar in San Martino de Porto. David is the owner and host and welcomed us in. Look at this. The view of the bay that you can enjoy from Azimut. I wrote a little bit of a review about it over the weekend. My weekend looked like this. The garden, that's an old trampoline in the middle there. Trampoline ruined by several summers and a Jimmy Choo. Come on to him in just a moment. But look, a nice spot in the garden now. That garden was completely slabbed until now, and until the work that's been gone on in the back garden there, and 2 welcoming chairs, and there'll be more cover from the blistering heat soon. But look at all of that, the beans, the peas, the sweet peas, the chilies, the tomatoes, all the wonderful things that Mrs. M is growing, and a dangly solar light that comes on in the evening. I thought I'd capture this picture for you as well. Look at these lovely grasses. Jimmy Choo photo bombs it. Look, Jimmy Choo, what are you doing? Okay, let's a couple more hellos. Stephen's in, Pamela's in, Sam's in, Cindy B, and love a new tune for our Monday specialist, Gilda, is Masquerade LLC manager. Who is that? What's your name? And Jeff Hill and Antonio F. Bon dia from a cloudy Porto this morning. So morning, Jeff. Morning, Antonio. Let me just make sure I've said hello to everybody before we go to speak to James. Living in the new Renaissance. Person to, oh, I know who you are, but living in the new Renaissance is great. Person to scale. What? I can't weigh that much. Scale to person. I find your lack of faith disturbing. Very good. Yes, I'm not surprised you leapt to that. Tech cowboy. Sean's in as well. Sean, bon dia from the Wild Wild West in America. Sean, how you doing? Ted K, that Eusebio is no professor. I am a professor, and I went to Harvard. Oh, okay. Rebel Mama is in as well. Hola, pessoa. Para a Porto, nublado agora, mas ainda limpo à tarde. Joe, I love it. Your grasp of Portuguese is amazing, Rebel Mama. Olá, bom dia todos. Faz do dia is Luther Vandross, and superstar. Luther had a gift of making you forget that someone else had sung the song before. In this case, the Carpenters. Both are amazing. Yes, indeed. And Ryan, I think we're going to go with. Bon dia from Bulgaria. What is the smell of Portugal this lovely morning? That's a good question. If anyone cares to answer that. And John Gibson, too. Darren in twice, no problem there. And the Porky Feet, Andy. Morning, Andy. How you doing? Right, time to go to the Redwood Forest, folks, and see what James has been thinking. Welcoming him with an upward twang. We do like an upward twang in the morning, don't we? That last little note on your theme tune is beautiful, James. As are you this morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Good.
Your little stumble reminded me of Rodney Dangerfield. He had he was doing a bit in his act. It's a stand-up comedian, if people don't know who Rodney Dangerfield is.
It's hilarious.
And he was going to questions from the audience, and someone asked him if he spoke any language fluently. He was just speaking English, so it was just funny. No respect, that whole thing he does. It was a great question.
Yes. Well, I love that guy. I mean, he's one of those comedians, isn't he, that only has to stand on the stage and people start laughing, right? He's got one of those.
He's constantly putting himself down, which is a big part of his humor and his delivery. It takes a little getting used to. I didn't like him at the very first, but then he kind of grew on me. So anyway,
he made it possible for Leslie Nielsen to come along, didn't he? I think it's
okay. I don't know anything about him other than some of his stand-up, but that popped into my head.
I might have to put a picture of his face up in just a moment, just to give everyone a laugh. How are you this week? What have you been up to? How's your weekend, first and foremost, before we find out what's been going on in that brilliant mind of yours?
Well, it's always great. And I say that every time, but it's true. I went for a bit of a hike or a constitutional with a local British friend of mine yesterday. And we tend to drive places, get a little, not literally lost, but we don't know where we're headed. And we just find a place to get out of the car and walk. And yesterday we ended up in what looked like endless vineyards. And we spent about an hour walking through there, not really lost, but it's like, let's find the shortcut, which is always a bad idea. So we ended up, taking twice as long to get back to the car as it would have if we had just stayed on the road we knew we were supposed to take. But what fun is that?
There's an insight into the human mind right there, though. Right? What I've experienced with that is when you're worried about if you're going to ever be discovered again, that bit always takes longer, doesn't it, than the journey. When you're walking somewhere and you don't know where you're going, or driving somewhere even, that in the mind appears longer, like images in the rearview mirror appearing smaller. The journey of the unknown feels longer than the return journey once you know it. And it's funny how the mind masters things, for better or for worse.
Yes, I have a theory about that, because I go to oftentimes I go when I'm wondering, I wonder why we do that. I go to survival. And I think the people who got lost and couldn't get back just died, right? So the people who procreated were the ones who had the capacity to remember how to get back. And so that's built into our DNA, and it comes much easier. Going back is much more familiar. So it's much easier to do that than to go into the unknown. So I think we survived because those who had that capacity to figure out how to get back got back and had babies, right?
Yeah.
So
yes, I'm so pleased to see you.
I'm back. I made it. Let's make babies.
Hey! And here is Rodney
Here's
Dangerfield.
Rodney, and grab your tie. I don't get no
and that face, I don't know if no, he probably wasn't the first to do the zany face like that. Benny Hill had a way of doing that. Leslie Nielsen does that, doesn't he? The airplane guy. It's a great face, and I remember doing it as a teenager at school with my great friend Johnny, who now lives in Australia. But we did so. And we didn't know that's where it came from, or that was part of the lineage of the sort of goggle-eyed zany face. But there you go. You have to look at that, and you're cheered up. But I think you can raise his cheerful face, cheery face, with thoughts from the Redwoods today. I'm guessing. I mean, I'm assuming they're always optimistic, but that might not be the case, of course.
Well, generally, and I spent some time thinking about what my endless thoughts, which is why this is a great title. But it was going to, we've talked about change your thoughts, change your reality, that kind of thing. But the question then comes into how do we change our thoughts? And I said, oh, that might be something to talk about. But then, like the donuts, I got distracted and ended up going back to last week a little bit about this idea of settling, like feeling settled in Portugal. And there was a response. You said, and I had to write it down because it was so beautiful, said, I don't want the newness and the excitement and the beauty and the romance to end. And I said, yes, I totally related to that. And then I got to think that's not really what I meant by settled. So what did I really mean by settled was the question. Because settling, there's this sort of connotation of settling for less or not something not the best. And so as I thought about that, and just to complete the thought from last week, what I was talking about, that sense of feeling settled, and in this case, I was talking about being in Portugal, is just being more comfortable and relaxed and familiar with a sense of place, not complacent or finished in any way. And consistent with the idea of the relationship, it's like consciously working on a long-term relationship. Otherwise, we do get complacent. We do feel, oh, we've arrived. We've got no work to do. And then the excitement and the freshness and the newness and all those things that we desire fade away. So this sense of settled is more about feeling relaxed and comfortable. And like I have a sense of place. Here I am, as opposed to, oh, I'm done. I can go take a nap on the couch now.
Yeah, it's so true. And I've had this conversation with people over many decades now. And I think we live in an age of, well, where happiness is linked to excitement, isn't it? And extreme, emotional extremes or heightened emotions. And there is the state of equanimity and contentment, isn't there? Which sages and gurus would point us towards. And it's a similar sort of thing, isn't it? Contentment is such a beautiful thing, but it's kind of unusual and not really talked about too much because the marketing people, we all have an inner marketer. Don't get me wrong, I'm not singling out anyone in particular, but there is a sort of marketing tendency, isn't there, that's arisen in the industrial age in order to motivate you to buy things. You have to be taught that you're not as good as you might be without them. That just seems to be the way the sales process might work. And we all do it. And in that process, perhaps in the industrial age, we've lost the basic contentment and equanimity and being settled in a good way, because you're absolutely right. The settling came into relationship parlance, didn't it? Are you settling? Shame on you if you're settling. Or like you say, settling for less. So I'm a big fan of contentment, but there's not a lot to show for it, is there?
No, and it's right on track for where I was headed with this sense of destination. People approaching life as a destination. There's always somewhere else to be rather than where we are. Hey, Hank, good to see you, buddy. Looking forward to them being here in a few weeks. Actually get to give them a hug.
This is a really good example, though, isn't it? Because I'm sure Hank and Connie, a lot of their happiness, you could say, it would seem, rests on being here. And there is something to be remembered in the immigration journey as well, isn't there? That it's important to enjoy being where you are if you possibly can. And I know that's not always possible, because otherwise you're suspending your enjoyment of the now for a result in the future. I don't know if that's where you were going.
Yes, well, and it's not even well, it is a suspension, but it's almost this craving to go to the next place. Like where we are is never where we want to be. There's always somewhere to go, and it can be geographical, where most of us can relate. We wanted to get away from the United States or our previous country, whatever that is, or we just wanted to get to Portugal because that was in some way the holy land, the place to be. This is where I can sit on my couch and rest. For some, it would be this is where I can start my adventure. I understand that as well. It can be all of that, but many people are trying to get somewhere else, to move onward. So we do that geographically, we do that emotionally. Happiness has gotten a lot of attention, that's the destination. I say it's not a destination because it's in us whenever we want to call it up. It's there. So it's not really a place to arrive, but we still approach it that way. Like we're trying to get there. And when we get there, then, and I don't know what we expect, then, it's like, I don't know, but there's this pull to go look for that thing. The same thing in life. I like him or not, I am familiar with some of the training of Werner Erhard, who was the founder of S Forum and then Landmark. And S got this reputation of people were being called S holes and things like that. And
I bet them. I've been one.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I came a little bit later in the process, so I didn't go that far, but I have to say, I learned a lot about humanity and a lot about people and how we tend to behave as modern humans. But I remember a talk that Werner was giving on how we tend to approach life. And he said we tend to approach life like a vigorous hike up a mountain. And that somehow the destination is to be at the top, where then we can be done and we can settle and we can relax. And here we are, we made the top of the mountain. And he said the big joke is that the mountain of life doesn't have a bottom and it doesn't have a top. So it's just a hike.
Yes.
It's just a hike. Sometimes it's more difficult. Sometimes it levels out. Sometimes it goes a little bit downhill. There's occasionally a nice rock you can sit on and rest and relax. But it's just a hike. You can go back down the mountain if you want. You can go up the mountain, but that's life. It's just a hike. There is no destination, which I think can be unsettling for some of us. It's like, but wait, why am I working so hard if I'm not going to get to and then finish? I don't know where we think we're going. And that got me to think about we're going to get to the top, the final destination. And then I said, well, what are the terms we use for being dead? The final destination, our final resting place. It's like, why are we in such a hurry to get there?
Indeed, deadline, the ultimate deadline.
Yes, exactly. So that got me this is the completion of the thought for me today, is that this sense of settled that we're talking about, not like settling for something, but settling in, like feeling comfortable, is that here and now place. Because life is just a hike. It's always going to be a hike. Everything, there's movement, but there's no destination per se. So here and now is that boulder that we sit on from time to time. And that's where the deepness and the beauty and the newness of a long-term relationship exists, is in the here and now. We had all that exciting roller coaster stuff that went on, and this is going to be a forever thing. We've gotten familiar with each other. Now we're in this place of feeling more settled, not complacent, but relaxed, here and now. And then we'll move on, like the hike will continue. So it's important, I believe, if we're really going to get that sense of satisfaction from life, that sense of being settled, is to stop looking at what's the destination and just land right here, right now, and be aware of where we are, who we are in this moment together, in this place, whatever it is. So again, the wisdom of Buddhist thinking and about being present in the moment, the here and now, is where, to me, the real joy exists.
James, thank you very much. upward twang means I thought you'd stay with us. I thought he would stay with us. Gilda, bom dia, alegria. How are you?
Olá, bom dia.
Are you well?
How are you?
I'm very well. You? You waiting for your theme tune? Because we've got it, and I was hoping that the big reveal there would have James still on the screen, but maybe he thought his invitation was only for last week and not this week. So we'll talk to his management about that and see if he wants to come back or not. But Gilda, a song has come in for you. Everybody, please, may I present to you the premiere of Gilda's new theme tune from Warren Sharm, from the genius mind of Warren Sharm.
It's Gilda P on GMT every Monday morning. Her approach to self is oh so fine and always reassuring. The girls at A figure out a way, visas for our journey. It's Gilda P on GMT every Monday morning.
Key change. Na, 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 na. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, thank you very much.
My
So
jingles
nice.
want to play themselves twice. They're so good. Yes, Warren, you are incredible. He wrote the theme tune for the show, and now he's written a theme tune and intro for Gilda. What did you think of that, James? Isn't that amazing?
That was beautiful. I was so in the moment, I forgot I was supposed to stay.
It was really a big finish. I think so big that you disappeared. Oh,
And
what's
I
this? Hey, hold on, but this is a scandalous rumor. Carl looks like he started his morning with the devil's lettuce. Just said, how very dare you? Haha, that's a great song. And the lyrics are absolutely bang on, aren't they? Look at this. It's Gilda P on GMP every Monday morning. Her approach to Seth is just so fine and so reassuring. The girls at A figure out a way, visas for our journey. It's Gilda P on the GMP every Monday morning. Yes, you can say. Go on, James.
Love it.
That's
it.
You're going to add something there. Sorry. Okay. You love it. Absolutely. Oh, excellent. So thank you very much, Warren. Gilda, how do you feel? You wanted a theme tune? You got a theme tune.
What?
You wanted a theme tune. You got a theme tune.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Okay. And how are you doing this morning? You seem a little bit laid back in reference to Hank's comments there. You seem nice and relaxed. You've been away for the weekend?
Yes, I must confess that I'm a little tired.
I thought there was something of that going on. Let's see if we can wake you up with the video you sent me. What's this about? Do you know what I really love about that video? There's a guy in the distance. Did you see the guy in the distance? He's like he's at a rave. Well, he is. He's at a sort of medieval rave or something. What was happening there, Gilda? Was that your back garden at the weekend?
I had to ask my husband to cut some parts of it because there were some guys laying on the floor and some guys not feeling so well. So I said, no, please cut this part.
Yes. So these people know how to party, clearly. They weren't celebrating Queen's Jubilee. What were they celebrating and where were they?
Okay, so this is a big party that takes place in Amaranth.
Oh.
And it's called Parties from June. It's every first weekend from June. Right. And there is like a deputy from the drums, okay? Yes. there are very lots of drums competition. Like in Lisbon, you have the marchers. They
Yes.
go with the different dresses and the different things, and in Amaranth they go with the different songs and playing the drums.
Wow. And Amaranth is just so beautiful as a backdrop as well, isn't it? We're talking, I think, southeast of Porto, possibly, Amaranth?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Have you been there, James?
No, I have not.
Everyone's
have
very
so
laid back. I've got to say, everyone's very laid back this morning. I've got a bit of this going on. Sorry to... Okay, let's just ease into this real slow.
Is that a bird?
Another thing about Amaranth is this lovely creature from Amaranth. Apparently, you said this is a traditional thing in Amaranth. He's got lovely, cute eyes and a lovely long trunk, and it looks like he's covered in sugar for some reason. So, what is that about then, Gilda?
That is a typical cake from Amaranth.
Right. Okay.
It's called the cavaca from São Gonçalo.
I bet it is. It's called a what?
Cavaca de São Gonçalo.
Sorry, James giggled then. We have that one more time because I didn't hear it properly.
Cavaca de São Gonçalo.
Right. And what is the idea with this particular confectionery? It's not an animal at all, is it?
São Gonçalo, it's like the saint of the city. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe someone saw something about São Gonçalo.
A cheeky saint, I think. There and is cinnamon
Someone who
involved?
found their way back.
One of the ones who found his way back. Indeed. And any cinnamon involved? Is there a light sprinkling, possibly?
I hope so.
All right, let's move on then to James. Thank you for being with us for that particular part.
Thank you, James.
Okay, I've got my jingle to play for Gilda, which has been knocked into a cocked hat by Warren's work, and it's quite ravey to fit in with what was going on with Amaranth. So we'll play you out. We play you in, and I'll make a visual, and we'll use Warren's beautiful work there in the future, Gilda, which I suspect you approve there, especially of the lyrics. And we've got a ravey one to go out with, just in case we have succumbed to a slumber by the end of the Migration Monday questioning. James, did you want to say anything else before you left this morning, after your hasty retreat earlier on?
No, actually, I was just, as I said, I just got in. Okay, here we are. Oh, time to go. Like
Bye.
In this moment. So
yes.
Carl said, great. I said, okay, see ya.
It was a high point. It was a climactic finish. But you don't have to go. You next week. Stick around. Okay, but have a great week. We'll see you next Monday.
Bye, James.
There he goes. Okay, so Migration Monday, folks. What questions do you have for Gilda?
First, wait.
Okay.
I need to explain about this party.
Okay, of course you do. Yes, you should.
I need to explain because I didn't see any expats in this party.
You didn't? Sorry, say that again. I've been distracted by a comment there.
I didn't see any expats in this party.
Oh, okay. All right. So next year, then we need to organize a.
So I need to talk about the party so that next year some will come.
As in, where were you, expats? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Lonnie is in Porto, and he works with a lovely Ralph who did the trip to Podence to see the Cretos, right? So maybe next year, Lonnie will be up for joining everybody at. I mean, all I need to do is show him this picture. I think Lonnie will be there. I think yes, coach trip next year to Amaranth, right?
No, it's a little bit violent because they just stop. It's a little bit violent because they just stop playing the drums at around 4 a.m.
Oh my goodness! Right, so you have to. So not only do the expats need to come, but they need to be training before. Because a lot of expats here, let me just tell you, a lot of expats go to bed about 7 o'clock in the evening here. They get up really early, about 9 o'clock in the morning. They go and have a coffee, pastel de nata, a couple of glasses of wine in the afternoon. That's it. It's in bed by 7. So we'll have to get them in training, I think.
Yeah. And then at 9 o'clock, the bells from the church starts ringing. you know, and you cannot sleep during the morning.
What? So
So
nobody.
it's really a non-sleep.
Okay. All
And
right.
it's Friday and Saturday, and then you have the fireworks. The fireworks, it's really nice.
Yeah.
And it's good. Only it was too crowded this year, because you know there were 2 years without the party,
Exactly.
and like
Yeah.
everyone wanted to go, so it was a bit crowded this year.
Well, I think that's understandable, isn't it? The 2 years. I mean, people were like caged animals, I suspect, weren't they?
Yeah.
And then the drums and the fertility-based confectionery. I mean, what's not to like? Probably was anyone drinking?
Everybody.
Everybody was drinking as well. Like, I mean, imagine that, high on alcohol and sugar-coated confectionery, and then the drums kick in, church bells. People are going to lose their minds under those circumstances.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they did. It sounds like they did, frankly.
Yeah.
So next year,
Everybody.
then let's join them. Who's up for speaking to Lonnie about organising a coach trip with Ralph? And that's going to be a great event for us to get ourselves around, to gird our loins for. I like Amaranth, especially Prince Charming. Very good. See what you did there, Eusebio. That's a precursor to some dad jokes that are coming a little bit later on. Should we do a little bit of today in Portuguese history? We've done today in Portuguese culture. Is there anything else you wanted to say about the Amaranth Festival before we move on, Gilda?
There is a typic dish that we, well, yeah, but it's also in Porto. It's like the tripas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, this
And,
is
and it's also a tradition that on Saturday lunch we have tripas.
yeah. Okay, so which is tripe, everybody, just in case you were wondering. So that is a northern dish, isn't it? I mean, the people of Porto themselves are called the tripas, whilst the people of Lisboa are called the alfacinas, the lettuce people, the lettuce eaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Which conjures up a very different image, doesn't it? You've got the hipster, you got the people who are nibbling on a little bit of lettuce down there in the capital, and then full on superbock drinking, tripe eating, swearing people of Porto and Amaranth. Okay, so yes, a tripe as well. I mean, as if it wasn't enough to have the church bells, the drums, the sugar coated confectionery.
You cannot sleep at all.
Tripe to keep you going. The cow gut just to get you in the right mood.
And then you have different stages. You have different stages with different singers. There was Emmanuel, and then there was a DJ that it's very well known in Portugal, Pitazuk, and all these noises combined, it's insane.
Of course it is. Of course, it's got to be, isn't it? I mean, I'm feeling it now. I wasn't even there 2 days later, and I'm just feeling those vibes that you speak of. So amazing coach trip next year, everybody, to Amaranth. And then I can imagine. I mean, how do people come down from that? What's the situation? You got to eat more tripe and have another little hair of the dog beer in the morning, possibly.
People have to drink a lot of Coke, Diet Coke, and a lot of water.
Coke and water is Gilda's remedy for that then. So let's have a bit of this now. And coffee, of course. And one of those pastries. Down. There we go. That's nice and gentle for this morning, where the heads are a little tender this morning. So let's speak quietly. If you're asking questions about migration, please don't shout them. Just put them gently in the chat, and we'll do our best to deal with those questions that are coming in about migration. And there may or may not be some info in about CEF and other administrative bureaucratic matters. Let's see, but not until we've had a look at Portuguese history. Today in 1920, José Ramos Preto becomes PM following the sudden death of Antonio Maria Batista. Ramos Preto was a landowner I thought that for a moment. I said it was a lawnmower, but he's a landowner and the most influential politician of Castelo Branco. After 12 days, the Ramos Preto government was forced to resign by the parliament after being criticised by increasing the salaries of the members of his ministerial cabinets. That didn't go down very well and has a certain resonance, doesn't it? Talking of people being forced to resign, I think in the UK, something along those lines is brewing. Okay, so any news, Gilda? Thank you very much, Prof. Ted K, for that. There's been a coup, I think, and Prof. Eusebio has been replaced by a rebel-rousing academic by the name of Ted K. Thank you, Ted K. Gilda, any news at all from the world of migration this morning?
No, not at all.
Business as usual.
Okay. Yes, business as usual.
Business as usual. We have our first questions, and we've got dad jokes. We've got all sorts this morning, which is rather good. And Miguel is continuing to supply some excellent Portuguese culture and language for us. And don't forget Marty Feldman's face, of course, in the lineage of famous faces. We were looking at comedic faces. Oh, there's a guy like this in Portugal at the moment who does the TV show, isn't there? What's your Portuguese comedian who does The Price is Right? Is he called Little Fatty or something like that? He's rather rudely referred to as.
No, there are two comedians that I like.
Okay, only two, right?
In Portugal.
Okay, yeah.
It's Bruno Nogueira.
Yeah.
And Ricardo Araújo Pereira.
Okay. Oh, any relation?
No.
No, okay. All right, very good. Thank you. Those who are quick enough to hear that and write it down will, of course, be researching those on YouTube and practicing their Portuguese whilst trying to. I mean, Tamakatan, who you might have met, we might have been on the show together here. He's an American comic. He's doing Portuguese material.
Oh yeah. I met him too, also here in the show.
Yeah. What a guy. It's interesting. I mean, to stand on stage as a comedian, as a stand-up, and face that terror, but then to do it in Portuguese, he's amazing. I don't think one should move to Portugal as a form of escapism from another place. I think we should resolve our issues with the place first. Yes, I was talking to Mrs. M about this. After the luggage comes the baggage. This is what expats can find. It's interesting that pursuing the dream of moving to Portugal and achieving it leaves a what now feeling. Yes, we're talking more and more about this, aren't we? Always looking for the next challenge. It's something to be aware of for sure. And we will deal with it. We will certainly offer help to people with what I've called what now syndrome. So some good points there. Thank you, Moaz. Thank you, Pam. That is awesome. That is probably the theme tune. And hi, Carl, Gilda, and in the now, James. Long-winded questions here. We don't mind that at all this morning. We're just taking it nice and easy. So a long-winded question is good for us. What's happening here? We've got some interesting conversation. Elra's in. Always interesting when Elra's here. As someone who has changed country 3 times, I feel like the issues follow you. Wherever you go, there you are. Moving place isn't a miraculous situation. You need to work on it. Thank you very much. And dad joke there. I'm starring these to come back to later. What's this, Moaz? That's different. Many African Americans, jazz singers in the 20s escaped to Paris. The same with gay Middle Easterners are in Europe for similar reasons. To escape, I suppose, yes, to escape external forces is another reason rather than your own dramas. Well, good point, Moaz. Chris to Kauai. Chris to Kauai Panda or Kauai Pandas. Flights being cancelled on the day of travel. Several airlines are cancelling flights for several reasons. Lack of staff, air traffic control strikes, squeaky bum time for UK holidays there. So yes, chaos at the airports and for the airlines in the UK. Do you know if anything has improved at Lisbon Airport? It got that terrible review, didn't it, Gilda? I don't know I can't remember if we talked about it, but I think it came bottom of a table. I've not experienced that. I've always enjoyed using Lisbon Airport.
No, it worked very badly.
Okay. The funny thing about Lisbon Airport is that you have to go in and then take a bus to the other side of Lisbon, don't you? It's like, okay, great, I'm on holiday now. Oh, I'm being put on a bus. Oh, a minute has passed. We'll be there soon. 5 minutes. So it feels like you're on the bus for half an hour, doesn't it? Before you get to
it does.
And that's why, folks, there's talk about putting the airport on the other side of the water. And what an amazing, I don't know. I mean, it's always controversial, isn't it, where you put an airport? But if it were at Montijo, you would land, you'd come in, you'd probably fly along the Tejo, possibly. You'd land at Montijo, and then you would drive into Lisbon if you were headed in that direction along the Vasco da Gama Bridge. And what an amazing start to your holiday that would be, right?
Yeah, and I don't think that's too far away. The only thing is that they've been talking about that for 20 years now. It could have been done already.
All right. Thank you, Gilda. Any news on IMT and exchanging a driver's license? He's only been waiting. It's not as long as an airport, to be fair, but he's been waiting 399 days for the license. What do we think's happened there with IMT? Is it lost at the bottom of a pile of such things?
No, they had an informatic problem and they lost lots of data.
Oh, okay. I've not heard that before.
So many people that probably this is Randy, right?
It might be. It might not be.
So many people that do it after, that have done it after, probably already has it. But if he got caught in that middle of where they had this informatic problem, maybe he got stuck there.
Yes. Okay. So maybe you're in the midst of a computer like outage or something, loss of data. What happens with that then? Is it worth going back in? Okay, so I mean, but you're doing this on behalf of people anyway, aren't you?
Yes. They say that they are going to fix it.
Okay, all right. They say they're going to fix it. Wait, where is the drums party? Okay, we've dealt with that. I think Hank's up for that trip. And thank you very much, Elra. Cavaca de
São
Gonçalo. I think that's what I said. And I thought this was a family show. I do not know what you are referring to. Now, while we're talking to you, Kawaii Pandas, and I think it was Baddy as well. Do you remember last Friday, everybody? Jenny B was here with what I thought it's obviously a shell. Everybody, I don't know who thought otherwise. All you need is already within. Sorry, Gilda. And peace begins with me. She is taking advance orders for that diary, and she wanted to reach out to Kawaii Pandas and I think to Baddy. So please make contact with Jenny. She's on Facebook as Holy Healthy. Okay. I applied then. First question. Oh, no. Hold on. Rewind. Back up the truck. And not many people have said hello to you this morning, I noticed, Shielded. I think they were taken over by the drums and your new song.
Yeah. Hello, Richard.
Yes. Come on. Gilda likes it when you say hello. So look at that in capital letters and lots of exclamation marks and a heart as well. Thank you, Rishabh. Amelie Kelly is in this morning. Nice to see you here. I applied to the Portuguese embassy in Korea. Wow. On April the 18th, and included all the local Portuguese embassy required. They never acknowledged, despite a couple of polite emails asking if they had received the info. So what does Amelie need to do? Stop being polite, maybe? I thought I'd done something wrong. Found the e-visa portal, applied that way about 2 weeks later. That was May. Was given an appointment at the embassy on May the 18th. Traveled to Seoul. And guess what? They had no idea I had an appointment and said they didn't use the... Oh, no, Amelie. They didn't use the e-visa portal. It's just there for show. I have two questions then. One, in your opinion, do you think the 60 days started on April the 18th or May the 18th?
May the 18th.
So it's when they acknowledge receipt, not when you send it in. Okay. Two, the Seoul embassy doesn't require a NIF or fully funded account. Does that fly with Seth?
Yes. If they don't require, it's not going to be, because when you go to Seth, you are going to have those things because you have like 4 months to get it done.
This is what your embassy said. You can say to them.
Yeah? Yes. Okay. Unless of course the embassy says one thing, and then when the process is going to be analyzed, the person who is analyzing the process understands another thing, and then sends back the process saying it's going to be denied because it's not completed. But normally, these countries that don't have many migration process to Portugal, they
Yeah.
don't require.
Okay, there you go. Coming in from Seoul. That's interesting and different. There you go, Emily, who has a flight on July the 8th, starting to think I need to book a later flight before all the seats are fully booked. Ugh. Okay, so I hope that helps, Emily. Good luck with that. Well, it's very unusual coming in via Seoul there. Quite incredible. And Gilda Pereira is here. Pereira, sorry, it should be more of an Aira at the end, shouldn't it? Time to hit the like button. You know you're going to get answers to several questions to help you on your way. So there you go. Johan Kafami is in, saying good morning as well. Johan, yes,
Good
party.
morning.
Yes, party. You'll see me there, says Hank. And to confirm from Ryan, on the D7 visa, you have to be in Portugal 6 months consecutively or 8 out of 12 months. When does the first year start? The first date of entering Portugal or upon getting the residency? Great question, Ryan.
The first year starts upon getting the residency.
Okay, there you go. And from Antonio to Hank, apparently the Festas de Junio and Amaranth only take place in the first weekend of June. So
Yes.
Hank wanted that to be a week of party. That would kill people, Hank. Especially, can you imagine being an expat who goes to bed at 7, staying up until 4? That would be far too traumatic. So I think a weekend is quite enough of that. Thank you very much. Does Madeira and Azores still count as being inside Portugal?
Yes.
Those autonomous regions, oh yes. So you can travel to and fro the Azores and Madeira without that counting as being out of the country. Looked like an amazing event, and we'll definitely cover this for Good Morning Portugal. And maybe I can take Carl along and video his experience. It sounds like I've got a crew. I've now got a cameraman. Yes, I'm up for that. Nice one. Note to self: never get a house in Amaranth, or get another house. Get another house to go to on the first week of June.
No, it is a wonderful city. I love it, and it has a beautiful view. If you get a house on the hill, beautiful view, and you have the river. And you know what you can do? You can rent it on June, on the first weekend of June, because there aren't lots. Places to stay. So
yes, isn't that amazing? So there you go. And it is beautiful. Freya Thika, who's been on the show once or twice, lives there and drew my attention to how beautiful the place is. Sent me some lovely photographs, which we have featured on Good Morning Portugal. Ryan Grunwald, Madeira and Azores are part of Portugal, of course, by some quirk of navigational nautical history. They are indeed a part of Portugal and are known as the autonomous regions. To you, Kawaii Pandas, I only know of some European airlines. You will have to watch the news. At the moment, the aviation industry is facing staffing shortages as it recovers from the pandemic. And its terrible economic model, it has to be said. I would have thought, Chris. Vitor Costa, politics there. Morning from Vitor Costa. Oh, I think might also have a question this morning, a very interesting one. Is there a maximum time that a VFS or consulate can take with the D7 application? That's a good question. Any time frames you know of for South Africans? 2 to 4 months with a maximum of 5?
This is a very tricky question because according to law, it is 2 months. Okay.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. According to law, it is 2 months. But when they get so many process, they don't have many employees to analyze the process. So yes, it can take 4 months or maximum 5.
Okay.
In South Africa.
So that sounds about right, how Ryan has it there.
Yeah.
Okay. But, I mean, I don't suppose Seth are going to take too kindly to you saying it's the law. You have to see me or you have to process this within the time, right? I guess that's a last resort rather than going in with guns blazing like that.
Sometimes we have to, we write to them and say that, okay, it's by law, according to the law, we should have a response, or according to the law, you didn't provide an answer, so we will assume that this visa is approved.
Oh, very
And
good. Very
yeah,
good. Okay. But
because if they don't say anything in that period, we can have an assumption that it was approved.
very good.
But yeah,
And
but
of course, that's going to go down a whole lot better if a professional is doing it rather than your average person, your muggle, your migration muggle, but may not get such a good result with that.
yeah, and sometimes with that, it's possible to get a response.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you for that, Ryan. Great question and a really interesting answer there. Thank you, Gilda. Jack Polly is here. Bon dia todos.
Hi, Jack.
When are we starting the Portimao meetup? Have we got a date in mind? Because Gilda might come down for that, especially if you and Victoria are going to be there, and it's going to be a party. Once she's recovered from Amaranth, she'll be with you. Bon dia, Gria, no Natal, ha aletria, como tio y como a tia y a avo Maria. That's a poem, isn't it? What does that mean, Gilda? What's he doing there? Causing trouble?
Altria is a sweet. It's a traditional Portuguese sweet. It's like the sweet rice, only with it's not a rice. It's a very small, like spaghetti.
Oh, really? Like a semolina or what was that? Yes. Okay. Interesting. A little wheaty thing in there. Yeah. Okay.
So it says in Christmas there is that sweet altria with an uncle and
An auntie in it.
an auntie and
Grandma
with
Maria.
Grandma Maria, yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Vitor. Always a pleasure to have your company. Brilliant. Carlo, yes, I messed that up, didn't I? People of Porto, tripeiros, not tripas, tripeiros, and the ones from were alfacinas. Sorry, I messed that up, but we got the gist. The tripe people and the lettuce people says everything you need to know about the North-South divide, really. Look at this. We'll get all the members of the forums and march 10,000 strong on Amaranth. Well, that won't look like a party. That'll look like an invasion. I think we should take it steady in the first year there, Hank, being expats and all that. Very good. I stay away from the news if I can help it, lol, but thanks for the heads up. I'll look into it. Yeah, kawaii pandas, occasionally you've got to stick your head under that hideous blanket of media coverage, haven't you? Yeah, and Mrs. Duck just got her license just after 11 months. Very fast by in comparison there. And using EI. And we should say, shouldn't we, that your hands are tied, Gilda. I mean, you're doing all you can. You've got a successful swap for Mrs. Duck, but for Mr. Duck, all you can do is keep up the pressure because of the computer error that they had.
Okay. I don't know. That's just a guessing. But if they submitted the process together, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. So it would point to some sort of problem at the other end, it would appear. Okay, it could be a medical condition. Maybe I should get it checked. Always get things checked. Always get things checked. Alex Rappaport is here this morning. I'm planning to buy a house in Jerez. Does Jerez qualify for the golden visa? I suspect it does, doesn't it, Gilda?
I'm not sure, but I think it is.
Yeah, we got the map. Give Gilda a call to the office there. Make an appointment with Gilda. The first appointment, the hour, the consultation is very useful and extremely good value to focus your plans. And I have put the connection to A inside the chat there. Hey, I just added an event to the calendar. Thank you, Sarah, for doing that. Really appreciate it. The Sado Summer Fest in 2022 in Setúbal. Going by the poster, it involves rock and roll, motorcycles, and sports. And food and drink. You can bet your life on that. But I suppose that's a given here in Portugal. Hope it's fun happening next to our apartment. How lovely, Sarah. Thank you. Really appreciate you doing that and sticking it on the forum there. And my smaller lettuce-eating cousin, communism, is like a disease. Be sure to take your freedom injections. Ted K. It's a complete coup there. The politics is being snuck into the show. What's this? Poor Gilda. I don't know when was that? Okay. But that does happen to a number of my guests. Don't feel alone with that, Gilda. The grass is only greener on the other side because they water and take care of it. Ooh, pithy. With a TH. Bon dia, Portugal. Migration Monday is a highlight of my morning, says Alex Scott. Can my wife go to CEF reunification appointments if I don't have a residence card yet? Waiting for the plastic card to be ready. So there's a number of things that we can unpack in there. How are we doing reunification? How are we doing with paper going to plastic, etc.? And then the question, of course, can Alex's wife go to the appointment if he doesn't have a residence card yet?
No, she doesn't.
Oh, okay.
He needs to have the plastic card.
Yeah.
But it's been quick. They are going quickly with that part.
Oh, are they? Okay, so there's a change in the atmosphere there.
Well, it depends on the CEF. If it
Oh,
is
okay.
like Santarém, they take it a long time. I don't know why.
Okay, there you go. That's the sort of information you're going to find here and nowhere else, I suspect. Thank you very much for that, Alex. Perhaps not the news you're looking for, and you're waiting to cross the biometric threshold because, of course, that's basically what happens when you go from paper to plastic, if I am correct in that assumption there, Gilda. A question, well, no, not a question, a shout out for you to Gilda and team, and especially Andrea from Casa Portuguese for helping me so much in getting my apartment here in Porto. Lovely feedback. And all the utilities and cell phone setup and working perfectly. My goodness.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. When is Andrea going to join us on the screen? She's the shy one, isn't she?
Well, to be honest, they are all a little bit shy.
I wonder what we can do about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk to them at the Amaranth Festival when they're feeling relaxed. Let's take them to the Amaranth Festival. Okay. So Casa Portuguese, of course, the domestic arm of EI, and you're helping people find apartments, but not only that, setting up all the utilities and even a cell phone. Is that right? What don't you do? That's amazing. Thank you, Jeff. For we love to hear the good feedback, and thank you for saying that, Jeff. Really appreciate it. And yes, love to Andrea from all of us. That'll embarrass her, won't it? Love from all those crazy people on that morning show that you won't go on, Andrea. They want you. There's a thing I call my daily expat challenge. One will not want for a challenge here. That's so great. The daily expat challenge. Set it up and who dares wins approach to it. I love that. Thank you, Cindy B. Good morning to you. To help with the what now syndrome, buy a home in need of renovating. That is a really good cure for the old what now syndrome, isn't it? What now? Well, a roof might help, and then the insulation, and then the plastering, and then the painting, and then the plumbing, and then take all the B-days out, etc. And then find out that you've got to put them back in by law. Yes, that'll deal with your what now syndrome. Okay, I believe the amount.
Just one question.
Yes.
Where is his house? I don't remember.
Is this Jaresh or John or Jeff?
John.
Okay. I think that's a joke there for John with his renovation.
Okay.
He's basically, if you're a sort of expat who's thinking, I'm twiddling my thumbs now, what do I do? Buy a renovation and that'll keep you busy. So that's a strategy, but it also could turn you grey and bald. Which areas qualify for the 280,000 golden visa? Is Jaresh the area to qualify for the golden visa with a 280,000 budget? I would say get in touch with you. You can have a chat with Alex, can't you? Or somebody from the team can, Gilda, and he can lay his eyes on that map about which areas qualify.
Yes, because I don't know it. I don't know it by heart. It changes,
and it changes. Now, I have, talking of rumors, which I don't like to do, but I'm prompted to by the golden visa mention here. Somebody said rather mysteriously last week, Spain is the new Portugal. And then somebody else said, that might be the new golden visa thing, the change in Portugal and the change in Spain. Have you heard anything along these lines, or is it just a rumor? Oh.
It is a rumor, but it's not to be said here.
We're not going there right now. It's definitely. Oh, okay. That was a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay. Stay tuned. When the rumor turns into a fact, you can rely on us to be bringing that news to you first. Look at this. Look at the smile on your face. I have a suggestion, if you don't mind, and only if your time allows it. Please watch the replay and look for the missed questions and answer them the next time you are here. No, Moaz. Thank you very much for the suggestion. I will not be doing that. Honestly, I cannot. I'll get somebody in my team to do that. Who is me? which means sadly, no, I can't squeeze that in as well. But Moaz, if you can help, or if anybody wants to help with that, if they cut and paste it and send it to me, I can't do the show for 90 minutes and then watch it again for another 90 minutes. My wife would kill me. What are you doing? I'm watching my own show again for an hour and a half. Can you look after the kids just a little bit longer? Fernando Mendes does the there he is. He's got a funny face, isn't he? Has he not? I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. I think he trades on his funny face. Fernando Mendes, o preço certo, and remember the price is always right for freedom. Oh, 10K. Good morning, Gilda and Carl from Joseph Galway. Great to see you both. Thank you, Joseph. Great to see you too. Question. Ding, 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 ding. I always think of not Charlie's Angels. What are they called? Oh no, it's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't even remember I can't remember their lead singer either. Question. Anyway, somebody else will help me with that because that will also happen to them when somebody says question. When applying for D7, are you required to have the jab? Would it be a problem if we don't have it? So far, that is not the case, is it, Gilda? As in the vaccination?
No, so far there is not the case.
Okay, Beyonce is the name I'm trying to think of, and I still can't remember the band she was in. What band did Beyonce front, Gilda? Question.
I don't know.
Okay. Hello, Hank. John Gibson. Non-EU passport control is hellish. That's the word from the airport. Okay. And from Vitor, D7 question. Would a 12-month contract on a tourism residence be accepted? Now, this is a good question, isn't it? I would have said yes, because it's the contract that matters, not the type of accommodation. Is that correct, Gilda?
Yes, that is correct. That is partially correct because what is happening? Some consulates are asking for the proof of the registration at Finanças.
Of the alojamento local.
Yes, and then if you are alojamento local, you can get that.
Okay, so yeah, because that's what I thought.
Or what you can do, Victor, is that you have like 1 month to make the registration.
Yep.
So you get the rental agreement and then submit the visa before it's 1 month.
Very good.
Month has passed, because then they don't have how to ask for this.
Okay, thank you very much, Gilda, for that. Excellent stuff. Dad jokes to come. And of course, we have, prompted by the mention of going to bed at 7 o'clock. I think this is Expat Life right here. When I was a kid, bedtime was 9 p.m. This is in from Pippa from Botswana. I couldn't wait to be a grown up so I could go to bed anytime I wanted, which turns out to be 9 p.m. Very good. Thank you, Pippa, for that. Okay, back to the questions then. Anybody? Oh, and your chat, of course, your comments coming in the chat. Anyone who thinks Lisbon Airport is bad has not been to any number of US airports. Yeah, I thought so. It was a very skewed article. I'm sure there are a few votes for putting Dallas-Fort Worth, the dreaded DFW, at the bottom of the pile. Paolo David Pereira is here as well. Good morning, Gilda, from Paolo.
That's my father.
Is it? Oh, how lovely. Senor Pereira. I am. Let's hope he didn't see the beginning of the show. I'm so glad you're here. Muito prazer. And thank you. You must be so proud of your daughter, Senor Pereira. Thank you so much for dropping in. Really appreciate it. Lovely to meet you, albeit virtually. Cindy B.
I don't know what is he doing here.
Should we be worried? Okay, all right. Okay, Dallas-Fort Worth. Does that change the atmosphere a little bit? Second, she's got her own theme tune, Dad. Second, that about Dallas-Fort Worth at Sarah there. Bon dia, Gilda. You'll see how popular your daughter is and how brilliant she is as well here. Bon dia, Gilda.
Bon dia.
Gilda from Brian as well. Okay. Loving caress of the thumbs up, please. And BJ King, Golden Visa stop processing.
No, they just changed the rules.
Okay, rules constantly changing, really. Is having money in your brokerage account same as keeping it in your savings account from Reshab? Another great question from you.
It's not the same, but it's taking in consideration to apply for a D7.
So it is a valid way of holding your money for proof to SEF
Yes.
or to the consulate. Okay. Hi, beautiful Gilda. If someone has a 90-day stay in Portugal, what do they have to apply for if they want to get an extension to stay for longer? This is the Brits, isn't it? So they can have 180 days. Is that possible at all, let alone how can they do it?
Yes, you should call SEF and ask for that you want an appointment to exchange your visa. And
Okay.
good luck for them to
Good luck.
Pick up the phone.
Cool. Thank you, Gilda. Amelie, that's been helpful with the journey from Korea to Portugal. Quite incredible. And you know what, Gilda? I got an inquiry about moving from Curacao. And in the time we've talked to each other, I've noticed that people are coming from Hawaii, they're coming from New Zealand recently, and they're coming from Curacao. Doesn't that tell you a lot about the magnet, the lifestyle magnet that is Portugal? Quite extraordinary. Okay, nothing but love for Gilda. Gilda is like the postman. She delivers. That could be a jingle as well, couldn't it? Hi, Carl and Gilda from Chris. Morning, Chris. We'll move to Portugal in 2024, but buy a house soon. I'm a German citizen. My wife is a German resident and UK citizen. Can she spend time in Portugal before I move there in 2024? Sure she can, right?
Yes, of course. If she's a German citizen, resident, of course.
It's one of the beauties, is it not, of being part of the European Union?
Yes, but she's a UK citizen, but she has a German residency, so she can come.
On that basis, she qualifies in a way that you no longer do, Chris, but I won't rub that in. Yes, thanks. All is good then with Amelie. That's fantastic. Jim, so good to see Jim on a webinar last Thursday.
Hi, Jim.
Jim seems so happy in Portugal, doesn't he? Bon dia, Gilda and Carl there. And I've got a lot of dad jokes. Should we do this? Should we lighten the mood and then come back a little to some more questions because we have a bit of feedback from Mama and Harry to come back to. But let's do this because we have some dad jokes and it's not fair. Oh, I bet your dad arrives and we're going to do some dad jokes. That's fantastic.
Warning.
Oh, no! Okay, first of these. To the person who stole Brian Taylor's vertical rotisserie last night, remember what goes around comes around. Very good. He's not just looking these up on the internet. He's making material out of what's going on his show. My grief counselor died this week, but he was so good at his job that I didn't care. Oh, dear. DJ, I got Lee McGrady's Landscape Gardening Company in, but he couldn't help me as my garden is portrait. Oh, my word. Very, very good. The couple next door made a sex tape. Obviously, they don't know. Oh, stop it. Okay, and I think we've done the vertical rotisserie, which is not a euphemism. Thank you very much for those dad jokes, Prof, whoever you are, or is it Ted K? We just don't know. Back to the questions then. Interesting response on the Soul application. In Singapore, it says prepaid 1-year lease. Does this mean I have to prepay 12 months rental to my landlord? Interesting question. Thank you. Morning to you, Mama and Harry.
I did visas from Singapore before, and they never asked for it. So it's the first time that this is getting worse and worse. Prepaid 12 months rental. Yeah, if they are asking for it.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? If they're asking for it, I guess you got to do it. But why would they do that?
Yeah. Well, if I were you, I would show a 1-year lease agreement and show that you paid only what is requested by law.
Okay.
The quotient and whatever the landlord asks.
Okay, so the problem here is that there's the law on the one hand, and then there's what people in the offices are starting to do, and that might fall into the latter here. That the law says you need to have a rental agreement for 12 months, not that you've paid for it, and that might be just some stipulation they brought in, and you might remind them to stick to the law because it's not the law that you have to have paid up front, is it? It's the law that you have to have 12 months contract.
Not even the 12 months contract. It doesn't say that. It just needs that you need to show that you have a place to stay.
Yes. Okay.
Remember that back then it could be an Airbnb and it was fine.
Okay.
because according to the law, it's fine. But then they started to make it more difficult. But to pay, to prepaid one lease agreement, it's not even against the migration law. It's against the civil law also.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
So
that's an awful
it's
situation to
insane.
be put into, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you for that, Gilda. And thank you, Mama and Harry. Hank is still excited about this party. It's a year away. Staying up until 4 is standard operating procedure. I was built for that party. Okay. Another one from Amelie, supplementary. I have a question about being in Portugal for the required time. If you travel within the EU, how do they know you've traveled outside of Portugal? Well, they don't necessarily, do they, Gilda?
They don't. Only if you stayed for too much time, and they can check on your bank statements when you go for the renewal.
Oh, I see. Very interesting. Okay, so it's a somewhat dangerous game to play in a grey area, but technically it is not possible to know necessarily without a little bit of forensic digging. But that's going to change possibly, isn't it? Do you foresee a tightening of movement around inside the EU? And because I've heard as part of the discussion about CEF is that they're part of a wider EU border control. Is that true, or is that just talk?
I don't know, but it's possible.
It's possible. Okay, so nothing concrete yet, just a little bit of EU saber rattling, possibly. Gilda from Reshab, any idea what the Portugal embassy in Zagreb, Croatia requirements are? Any experience in dealing with Croatia?
Well, if you're talking about D7, I don't think I ever did the D7 process from there. Only work permits.
Okay, there you go.
And it was okay.
Okay, good to deal with them by the sound of it. Hi, Gilda from Jack. Yes, any ideas then, Jack, on when the first Portimao meetup might be? And Antonio being very helpful as usual. The way I read it is any property must be over 500,000. If it's over 30 years old, that amount is 350,000 euros. But get that right from an expert, which is Gilda, of course. And the question comes into the expert from Darren. Would have said hi sooner, but I had to run to plug in this iPad before it died. That is a real and present danger, and so much.
Hi, Darren.
There you go. Hola, bon dia, kids. Hiya, girls. Brilliant. Independent women. Hiya to my girls, Jack and Gilda. Gilda from Miguel. What about citizenship and naming conventions for mixed families, Portuguese and foreign families? I'm not sure what that means. Do you know what that means?
Naming conventions.
Yeah, naming conventions. Oh, is that possibly when you? I suppose it's connected in some way to when a child is born in Portugal. You're meant to choose from the list of names, aren't you, and have an official Portuguese name. How closely is that policed or applied, Gilda? Not so much these days, I suspect.
Oh, not so much these days for mixed families, Portuguese and foreign families. I don't think that is a problem anymore, because we all the citizenships process that we've done. There was never raised any problem because of the names.
Okay, there you go, Miguel. Good question. Good question indeed. Oh, and we have forgotten something this morning. Something quite serious, actually. Have we got an update on Gilda's dog lately? I miss him. Mandela! How is Mandela this morning? How wrong of me to have not remembered a little Mandela in all the excitement earlier on. How is the little fella?
Actually, he turned 1 year old this week.
Oh, parabéns a você, little Mandela. And what did you do? Did you get him a little doggy food cake or something like that?
Just a bone.
A bone.
Those
okay.
bones, yeah.
A traditional one, or like a one of those modern ones?
No, those modern.
A modern one. Okay, not a traditional splintering bone for that special little prince who is Mandela. Okay, so there you go. Mandela is all well. And he's 1 year old now. How bless him. Hi, Gilda. Is any change to people from the UK being able to switch from paper to plastic biometric cards now?
Capricorn. I think it's coming soon.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say to him, Capricorn, really, you know better than to ask silly questions like that. But no, it could be coming soon, Chris. How about that?
I think it's coming soon, and I'm going to explain why. Because we had some family reunions from people that were married with UK citizens that were for months stopped because they were not part of the European Union yet. And they just came out last week. Okay. So this means that they are in the process, well, at least I understand that they are now in the process of starting to deal with these issues of the UK citizens.
Okay, there you go, Chris. How exciting. How exciting. You can go all biometric. Last few minutes of the show. Let's see how many of these we can squeeze in. It's been 2 months, Cindy B. Today from my CEF appointment in Santarém. Should I be expecting my card soon? So that Santarém is behind you, fortunately.
Well, Santarém usually takes a little while to send the cards.
Okay, there you go. I've sent. So I guess the basic answer with that is you should be expecting it, but whether or not it will come soon.
It's not soon. Usually it's not soon.
Okay, I've sent Gilda an email for her help to guide us through getting our visa plan underway. Can't wait for her response. Now, I see this quite a lot. A lot of people wait, don't they, Gilda? I think I'll give it a go myself here. And they end up coming to you after the troubles that they face and challenges that they face. Your first consultation is standalone, isn't it? People don't have to become involved at the highest level and buy every one of your services. They can just take the first consultation and get clarification and check their plans with you, which I think is a lot of value. Is that the case?
No, but sometimes they send me an email when it's a simple question. I just answer.
Even better. How about that? There you go, Gary. Look forward to receiving a reply soon then. Andrea helps us here in Porto as well. To Jeff, we're very happy. Great feedback. Show us, man. All right, Hank, we did that. Yeah, we got it. Lagos area. I can't remember why John is mentioning that, but it's
his house.
Oh, okay. That's where his house was. Have a great day, everyone. Unfortunately, I have to go to finances. Well, it happens.
Good luck.
Colinas Verdes. Oh, I love that. We have a campsite up the road from us called Colina de Sol. Of course, Sun Hill, but you're the green hill there, Colinas Verdes. I love my new home, and it sounds like he's got a bit of a doer-upper on his hands there. Fantastic. Have a few super box to make it bearable. Don't go into finances, smelling of Superboc. Fondle that like button for this most excellent show. Thank you, Cindy B. Thank you very much indeed. I'd heard rumors. There's so many rumors now, aren't there? With the increased interest, the number of rumors goes up as well. I've heard rumors of proposed changes to crypto taxation. Have you heard anything, Gilda? Thanks.
Yes, there are rumors of proposed, but I don't think it's going to be for now.
Okay. All right. So you're all right for a little bit further, you hodlers and you crypto folk. Destiny's Child. That's going back a bit, isn't it? Destiny's Child. All right. I got it now. Thank you very much. Carl, were you thinking the Jeopardy jingle with the word question? No, I've got this for that. Oh no, I've got that for the big pause there. Barbecue update, extended the capacity. €6 is the price, everybody. That's not bad, is it? €6 for a barbecue menu. See you next Sunday for that. Fantastic, Destiny Child. Bon dia, travelers. It's 10 o'clock. Hi, Owen. Any chance to reschedule the barbecue until after June the 21st? Asking for a friend. I'm sure we'll have more. Thanks, Gilda from Joseph. And always good when your dad checks up on you. Although you could say it was like bring your dad to work day today, which you did, Gilda. Thank you for that. And I'm really, really delighted your dad popped in. So many countries, including Spain, offer the golden visa, but they usually require the 183-day stay, and that triggers the tax resident statute there. Moaz, thank you for that. Paolo, just watch. Oh,
he keeps watching.
He's still here and still watching. That's amazing, isn't it? Children complain, I don't want to take a nap. I don't want to take a bath. I don't want to take a time out. I don't want to go to bed. Grown-ups can't wait to do all of these things. It's so true, isn't it? And Simon's in as well. Fiona and Simon, how you doing? How is Mandela? Look at this. I'm so sorry. I forgot about that. And I'm afraid I'm just going to have to cherry pick at the end here, and a quick dad joke before the end. Hello, Gilda, just to double check. Can I freely travel from Portugal to UK on a Portuguese work visa? And can I travel while the work visa is processing? Is that okay?
On a work visa, yes, of course. And can I work while? Wait. Let me see the other part.
Okay, no, I've lost it now. Some say I lost it a long time ago. But hold on, Kawaii Pandas, where have you gone? Stop confusing me. There she is. Okay.
Can I travel while the work visa is processing? Yes, and unless you don't exceed the time that you are allowed to stay. Well, if it is. Or to other countries, you mean? Yes, and if you still have your passport with you, yeah,
normal movement conditions would apply, I guess, for that. And a last migration question before we go to a final dad joke. Bon dia, for 5 years residency, asked Johan, in Portugal before applying for citizenship. During this 5 years, can I still leave Portugal 6 months of the year? Thank you, Johan.
No, if you apply for citizenship, then you are Portuguese. You are free to leave whenever you want.
I think this is before, though, isn't it? Is this during the time, during the time of application, as in residency rather than citizenship?
No, I don't think no one is going to check that. You are already 5 years resident. You are already going to apply for citizenship. No one is going to check that.
Okay, there you go, Johan. Anything that we haven't got to, do get in touch with Gilda and team, and you can do that. If you forget how to do that, I'm going to. You can always go to expatsportugal.com and find them in our business directory. I will also put that link into the chat now. And we will finish, because your dad was here today, we'll finish with a final dad joke. A thank you to Ted K for these. Thank you, Senor Pereira, for being here today, as well as Gilda Pereira for being here, and James earlier on. Gloria Gaynor invited 6 people round for dinner, but 1 didn't turn up. That's okay, she told her guests. I will survive. Ay, ay, ay. Gilda, have a great day. Have a great week. Can't wait to see you next week. And this was the jingle I made for you, which isn't as good as Warren's for sure. But I've got a feeling Hank might quite like it. So, Gilda, see you next week. Ciao, ciao.
See you next week. Bye.
It's just like being back at Amaranth for a moment there, wasn't it? So we've got a jingle in and a jingle out there. Thanks again, Warren. Amazing work. Really appreciate you. And thank you, Carl and Gilda. We'll be in touch soon. Say the 3 P's in a pod. No P's in pods tonight. The gardening Q&A is a team meeting for the team only tonight, but every other Monday, 6:15, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and if there's a 5th Monday, join the head gardener, Lee McGrady, for a Q&A. David, look at this. This is great news, which I must include. I'm flying to Lisbon in an hour. Yay! Nice one, David. A bit bold. That's great to hear. Do pop in and see us at the Silver Coast meetup. That will be happening on Wednesday, as it does every Wednesday. Another great show. Oh, you know what? When I was talking to David, I was thinking we hope to broadcast. I didn't ask him this yet, but can you imagine doing the Good Morning Portugal show with that view, or a special outside broadcast? That's me and the fam there on Saturday evening. It was quite amazing. That is Azimuth. Shout out to David and the crew at Azimuth. And they have a license till 4 a.m. as well. So you might like to go there. Stick that on your list, Frank. See you tonight at 10. The question, or my question to you is this, for that politically inclined podcast is, are you prepping? and we'll deal with that this evening. So thank you, Gary. Another great show. I will see you tomorrow morning, where we will be joined by, I think we've got Daniel. Any legal questions tomorrow? We have Daniel, and we'll also have Michael from Serenity popping in. Thank you very much. Maybe see you at 10 this evening. And if not, see you in the morning. Ciao for now, dear friends.